What's up, Wolfpack fans? We're back with another episode of the Red and White Podcast. This week, we're very lucky to be joined by one of my childhood heroes, Eddie Goines. I grew up watching this pack in the early 90s. Terry Harvey, Eddie Goines, and I remember running around the neighborhood with my friends, playing catch and pretending to catch touchdowns from Terry Harvey as I was Eddie Goines. So it was a pretty awesome experience for me. I really appreciated him taking his time for us. I tried to keep my gushing to a minimum, but I don't think I did a very good job. Unfortunately, we did experience some technical difficulties in two spots towards the end, so the audio may have broken up just a little bit while Eddie was telling us about his project. So do us a favor and follow Eddie on Twitter. Google Ali Speaks. It's a short film. It's really good. It's so good. It's been honored across Hollywood and across the industry. It's even been honored by the Muhammad Ali Center and by the man himself. It's a great piece of work you should all check out. Eddie is a proud representative of NC State too. He told us he was secretly working on a special that we're all going to love. It's a motivational video for NC State about NC State. And the best part about it's going to be out today. So keep an eye out for the link from him. And again, thanks for listening. Be sure to support Eddie any way you can. Help him raise money for his production. He's got an Indiegogo page. You can just Google Ali Speaks. It's right there after the YouTube video. You can help him raise money. You can donate, or you can just share the URL. Help raise awareness for what he's trying to do. He's a great representative of NC State, and I know he appreciate having Wolfpack Nation behind him. So I know I'll share it. I'll let my friends know about it. Let you guys know about it. I hope you do the same. Thanks.
All right, welcome to Season 2, Episode 5. I'm Dustin, and I'm here with a really pissed off Evan. It's been like his bad week. He got pissed to start with, and then the Shad news today. So what's going on, man? What do you need help with?
All right, well, I'm not as pissed off as I was, say, on Monday, but I started taking notes, and, then I guess the Shad news really pissed me off again, but the first thing was, local media guy, I'm not even going to bring up his name, it's not worth giving him attention, is playing the local media role, and he's trolling State fans with stupid comments. This stupid comment was essentially, NC State football will never be elite because our fans accept playing road games against chumps. And he was referencing the South Alabama game. And it just really teed me off. It was ridiculous. It's a new age, the money thing, all that stuff. There's no basis to it. It was just dumb. And he's just doing it to get people fired up. And, and it worked because we took the bait, unfortunately. But it's low. It's not... There's no substance to it, and it really just pisses me off. And freaking Greenville newspaper guy did the same thing today. Starts throwing jabs at State because of the Shad situation. I was like, if you're a media member, you got to be above that. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the local media treating us like ass just to get a rise out of State fans, and they do it. That's why they do it, and it's just really teed me off. I was really mad this past week. If that mentality were true, why are we getting bashed for, when we ran Herb Sendek off, right? And, that's how they treated. Oh, he was a 500 coach, took him to the NCAA. Why are they running him off? What do they think they are? And then all of a sudden, now the narrative has changes to, who do they think they are? They can't, they're not a national, they're not elite. They can't ever do this.
Because we don't act like we are.
Right.
When we act like it, we're stupid.
Exactly. You can't have it both ways. So pick a storyline and run with it. Right.
The only way it's going to change is to win a title of some sort.
Yeah.
I mean, we got to get some kind of championship in one of the two, and then we can just throw up middle fingers and walk away.
I can't wait. I cannot wait. And the other thing that happened was the Louisville freaking radio guys, Card Chronicle. I don't even know what their podcast is called, their ESPN radio show, started dissing Carter Finley from some game back in, I don't know how long ago it was a long-ass time ago. saying Carter Finley is docile was his word, and NC State fans are happy with being average, and just the whole thing about how Louisville's fans are more consistent and they're overall a better fan base. And this leads into my next rant. I don't understand what the hell Louisville fans, why they think they're so great.
I mean, if they're gonna talk about being average, they would know more than anyone else, I guess.
Right. I mean, the arrogance they have from Coney and from the Big East, which was a terrible conference, and doing well in the Big East, but they're in the freaking Big East, and they just think they're holier than thou. It's unbelievable.
I want to slam them like they do us. They're a basketball school.
Yeah.
Right? Don't talk to us about Papa John's Stadium or whatever the hell it's called.
I mean,
it looks decent on Thursday nights sometimes, but
right. I mean, we were packed every weekend. If you had any sort of, I don't know, awareness of college football, you'd understand that our fan base is legit. I mean, I'm not just saying that because I'm a State fan. It's real. I mean, we lead the conference in attendance for a reason.
Oh, I mean, FSU, Clemson, they'll tell you.
Yeah.
It's not some thing we're bullshitting you about, and y'all know this if you're listening to it. It's a crazy atmosphere. They don't know anything. They've been in the conference a couple of years. They're trying to fit in some kind of niche, Maryland, I guess. It's arrogant and stupid and whatever.
I'll include the clips from their radio show in the blog post because I clipped them and put them online for us. But man, I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't understand where it's coming from, like where it comes from or where it stems from. Like, why do they think they're so great?
Because they got Petrino. You
Yeah.
can't respect yourself if the guy leaves you for greener pastures and then comes crawling back. And you're like, okay, sure, why not? Our coach left us too. So,
yeah, I don't know.
That's a mediocre program. It's not a destination job, so don't talk about us and act like we're lower than you. Charlie Strong bolted.
Right?
Look what that's done for him. But
yeah. I don't get it, though. And it just really fires me up. I have a good friend who's a Louisville fan, and even he shows, tinges of it, and it's unbelievable. I don't know where they get it.
You think it's a case of the little brother syndrome like we have?
I mean, it might be. It might be that they're so used to Kentucky just, dominating them in the state, in their coverage that they need to, puff up their chest and act like they're important.
I was trying to think of the word for puffing out their feathers, but I couldn't.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I think it could be a little bit of that. They're not Kentucky.
Yeah. It's annoying. It drives me crazy. And then this... Yeah. Anyway, that's it. They're the new Maryland fan, and it's annoying.
Well, if that weren't enough, some big news broke today.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah.
Now, to pile on... Old Shadrack gets booted from the football team.
Yeah. You can only do so much for a guy, and he used every chance he had.
He did, and I definitely understand, Dorn was in a bad spot. He had no other choice to do it. I just, when you think there's hope that Shad has, by all means, or by all accounts, turned things around, so to speak, right? And, he conducts his interviews. He's very good at those, and he carries himself well, and then he just puts himself in the dumbest positions, and it's frustrating. I think it sucks from a State fan perspective. I mean, we have the running back depth. From a football perspective, I get it. We're okay, but he's a talented back, and I guess it's just frustrating that he just keeps doing stupid things and putting himself in that position.
I mean, it's worse for him,
Yeah.
He's the one that's... I mean, he had a shot at the NFL.
Yeah, so that's my question.
Does he on Sundays?
Yeah, does he still get to play? I mean,
No.
You don't think he'll get a chance?
I just can't see it. Who would try? Would you pay him?
I don't know. I think when it comes down to it, if he's good enough, they'll pay him.
See, Jameis is good enough to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure that they're going to take a chance. He might get practice squad spot somewhere and eventually work his way up, but he could have possibly made a roster next year, and I just don't see that now. It might be a year or two from there, but
and that's, yeah, I don't know. I think he'll get a chance somewhere. I mean, the Atlanta Falcons gave T.A. McClendon a chance, and that dude was a train wreck.
Yeah, but they knew he got in.
Yeah. Now you're really trying to fire me up. I don't think Shad is TA good, but I think he's got the NFL type of back. I mean, guys like Bilal Powell and who else in the NFL. I think Shad can run with those guys, but I don't know if they'll give him a chance. I hope so. You guys got to feel bad for a kid who, and maybe not feel bad because it's his own fault, but I feel bad for him. Like, I can't put myself in his shoes if I get kicked off my senior year, after, supposedly trying to get things straight. God, that's got to be tough.
The thing is, this one, it's not like it was an accident and he didn't react the right way. It's not like he was out looking for trouble.
Yeah,
doing things that should get him in trouble, like the other stuff.
It's the circumstances nobody knows about, right? We don't know what he was doing. Was he, could have been coming home from school or from practice late at night, didn't want to ride on the road because it's raining and it's dark and whatever else, and rolled up on the sidewalk, clipped a guy. He apparently in the story he apologized to the guy, so at least he must have stopped, and the guy had to know who it was, knew who it was from some interaction with him. And then he left because he wasn't registered or whatever. I think that's only a new law that you have to register your moped, but he just put himself in a situation where he didn't know how to react, and he took the wrong approach. Just kind of he ran instead of manning up to it.
See, I'm gonna go black helicopter with it. And I think he might have stopped and apologized. Guy said he was okay, so Shad leaves.
Yeah.
And then I just thought it was really interesting that the person contacting the media was his mother.
Yeah.
We don't know the story behind that, but that's really weird. How do we know the kid didn't say, "Oh, don't worry about it"? And then gets home or calls mom, etc. I don't know. The one thing I want to go back to is you were talking about running back depth and how it's not really going to hurt the team. What if Days goes down?
Yeah,
Frazier's red shirt is gone.
There's always a scenario, right? Because now Days is going to get a lot of work. Even he has been getting a lot of work. But I just we don't know the story, and I always wonder. I'm wondering now, like, if he had stopped and maybe they called the cops, whatever, would he still be in trouble? Or he just get in trouble because he left? I don't know.
I would think, because the charge was the leaving without leaving contact information or helping.
Yeah.
And then the unregistered thing.
Yeah.
So they would have got him with that, but I don't know if that's worth kicking somebody off the team over. That's a traffic violation.
Yeah, it sucks. That's what it comes down to. It sucks. Sucks for us. Sucks for him. Sucks for Dorn to be in that position.
Well, it does, because he stood by him,
Yeah. And, his other trouble, so what? He likes to smoke weed. I mean, I'm sure half of campus is probably high right now.
I bet half our listeners could be.
Yeah, I'm sure half our listeners are high right now, too. It just, so at least he's not, Malik Simmons from Carolina who's assaulting kids and, pulling guns and still playing football.
It's funny,
right?
You don't hear about that, though.
Right, yeah, of course. No, Shad's the bad kid. I don't think he's a bad kid. I think he just has some questionable life choices.
He likes to party,
Yeah. On his scooter, apparently.
Well, these scooters, they're getting out of control. They're putting Hemis in them now. You can't. He tried to stop.
Oh, man, I don't know. I was pretty bummed about it. There's so many ways to be bummed about it. It just, I don't know. It's unfortunate. I guess we got to move on. I mean, the whole vibe of the weekend, we got Shad and Hurricane and everything else, just, it's not giving me a warm, fuzzy feeling for Saturday, that's all.
But hey, you wanted a 1,000-yard rusher, and you're going to get it now.
I wanted 2.
Well,
but I guess we'll sell for 1. I think we'll see Jalen Samuels get an increased role, running the ball a little bit and a little bit more than he has been. He's been catching passes and running jets and stuff like that.
See, I'd really rather just see him catch the balls and let Gillespie take it up,
Oh, dude. Yeah.
He didn't look bad Saturday.
Yeah. He runs hard. He's got the Shad in him. He runs hard, man.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to make you bring him down. But, Shad was a different beast. He was hard to bring down. But anyway, enough of my ranting.
Didn't we have you'd sent me something, a quote from a listener, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. So a buddy of mine, and this was before Shad got booted, said, also, for some reason, if Shad gets dismissed, I'm calling my shot right now. Matt Days rushes for 1,400 yards and edges Cook and Watson for Player of the Year.
1,400, huh?
1,400.
That'd probably do it. That'd get the Player of the Year.
I would think so. I mean, I think a dude.
What dude have last year?
Yeah.
What did the Pitt guy have? Was it that much?
I have no idea. It was a lot.
Well, my first thought was, well, we'd have to win the division, and I'm like, nah, Pitt didn't win shit. So
yeah, that's right. No, and before that, I think that's right. I was just gonna say, I mean, that's a pretty bold prediction, but it seems pretty right now. I mean, he can. Well, he's almost at 500 now. We're only 4 games in.
Yeah, I'd probably say 1,100 to 1,200 would be my guess.
Yeah.
These next games, the defenses are going to be a little harder, but
yeah, and I think we're going to spread around a little bit more, so we'll see. Anyway, enough of me ranting. We're going to take a quick break and come back with our special guest. I'm pumped to have. It's one of my favorites growing up as a kid. NC State great wide receiver Eddie Goines. It's going to be awesome. All right, we're back, and our very special guest, NC State wide receiver great Eddie Goines, is joining us. Eddie, thank you for taking time out of your day, dealing with our technical difficulties, and joining us.
Hey, man, thanks for having me. It's great to be on the show.
It's a pleasure. I was a big fan of yours, and I still am. But anytime we get to talk to guys like yourself, it's a real treat for me. It's really special, and I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
So just jump right into it. Do you get to keep up with the program much?
Yeah, well, I always keep an eye on what's happening with the team, and I've been checking them out so far this year, and I'm excited about this first game. I tell you, I know we kind of spoke a little bit earlier about kind of alluded about speaking about the schedule, but I tell you what I think of the schedule so far, saying that this is the first game. I forgot to but anyway,
let me jump in. How do you feel about that? I know back in the day we used to play Syracuse and South Carolina, and we'd have a lot of those games.
Yeah. I mean, we played, and when I was there, we played and beat South Carolina, Iowa, Purdue, a lot of school. Those were the out of conference types of games, and I used to be upset when we played at Western Carolina or a Marshall, who's especially Marshall is a very respectable program, but now with this like Presbyterian and all that kind of stuff that's just like I can't even. It's just I can't fathom it. You know what I mean? It's like wow, it's really amazing. I was like, is that a church up on Gorman or something?
It's frustrating for us, as fans too. And I get it. It's just the way it is these days. But everybody's doing it, and so we're not the outlier by any means. It's a pretty common thing. It's just unfortunate. That's the way, in my opinion, college sports has turned. College football, at least.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's a lot of factors in there. And that first year for the coach and this new staff was pretty rough. So I can imagine that they wanted to get some confidence, and things of that nature as they continue to come into their own.
Yeah, I think one thing that's been different at least for me, from my perspective, is we've actually played these games and we've played them as we should. We haven't played them close. In the past recent years, we've played a lot of these games a lot closer than they should have been.
Yeah.
And this year we're just hammering people, and I think that kind of shows the state of the program.
Yeah, I would agree completely with that because in previous years, even though they were still relatively guaranteed wins, one or two would go down where we're losing in the fourth quarter or something of that nature.
Right.
So,
Right.
That's good that they've done what you're supposed to do against an opponent like that.
Yeah, I think that shows a lot in the program.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get to come around the program much? I know they do the annual alumni game. You've been able to make it back for any of those?
Yeah, I have not. Just being out here in Los Angeles has made it really challenging. And, I would love to. If I were anywhere that I can actually just drive, that I would do it for sure. But,
right.
Yeah, unfortunately, I came back maybe 2 years ago for Torrey Holt had a nice little event, the Holt brothers, some sort of Super Bowl event that I supported, and that was about it for the most part.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Well, on to how much interaction do you get with the program? I know you said you keep an eye on them.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen the progress that they're making? That's kind of a redundant question, but
well, yeah. I mean, just to say, I'm very curious as to what's going to happen this year. We're definitely improved. I don't think that's going to be much of a question. But how far can we actually go? When you have a quarterback, that's a big part of it. And I think Jacoby is he's a good ball player. I like what he does, and he has a chance to really do some real good things for the program and for himself and his football future.
Now, as a wide receiver, knowing you have a quarterback like that, does that step up your level of play, or is it you're going to be what you are kind of thing, or do you feed off of that?
No, a quarterback, you need a quarterback, and that makes you that much more excited that you have someone that's going to get you the rock, that's not afraid to give you an opportunity, especially if you're a playmaker sort of a guy. You want the ball, and you want to know that you have someone that can get it to you. So, and Jacoby can definitely do that. So, it helps in every which way. That's the only guy talking in the huddle. That's the guy everyone is looking at before each play, and it's a big difference to have somebody in there that you respect, that is going to make plays and be a leader out there.
So tagging on to that, NC State has had a hard time in recent years landing top wide receivers. I know for a while there we had a ton of really good wide receivers. Yourself, Jericho, Torrey, even back before that, Haywood Jeffries, all those guys. Is it the perception of the program? Does Dave Dorn wanting to run the ball, or at least seeming that way, does that hinder wide receiver recruiting?
Well, I mean, no receiver, no playmakers, and that's what I get into, the playmakers.
Right.
No playmakers wants to go anywhere and just block for 4 years or whatever.
Right.
That's the truth. That's for sure. But it seems like they get opportunities, and I just think the state of the program overall, I don't think it's so much the offense, but probably more so the state of the program overall for a year or two there, maybe made it a little difficult. But I would like to think that if with a good season this year, that we can get back on track to having, without a doubt, we're definitely top 10, maybe top 15 easy, but probably top 10 programs in the country as far as receivers that we've produced. All those guys you named. Then Corn Robinson also was incredible. I mean, there's so many of them. Nasworthen, Mike Quick, whoever. So many. Yeah.
I think that's part of. It's a weird perception. Like, we're not Georgia Tech, right? We're not going to run the triple option.
Yeah.
But people are saying, Dave Dorn wants to be like Wisconsin, but last year we were the
50-50.
most balanced offense in the country. We were 50-50, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a weird perspective. And I was always wondering if that was, affecting recruiting, or if that's just, the ebb and flow of recruiting. That's how it goes sometimes. We have a couple of bad years, and the real playmakers take a step back. It's like, well, I don't know if I'm not ready for that yet.
Yeah, and part of it also is like when Haywood Jeffries went to NC State. I do know Haywood, but I can't necessarily confirm this. But I would imagine that he saw Mike Quick and was like, "Yo, man, Mike Quick was the man. I want to be like Mike Quick." And then Naz Wortham, the same thing. And then I came after Naz, and then Torrey. Got players ahead of you that inspire you, that you want to go do what they did at that particular school. And so another thing is we really haven't, Jericho is probably the last guy that we've had that's really been out there doing some great stuff as well. But when you win, when the program wins overall and you get better recruits and things of that nature, you're going to get some players, and I think we'll get it going again hopefully soon. And I'm not educated enough on the program to know to dismiss or to praise any of the receivers that we have right now. I checked out a couple of the running backs has been doing pretty well, but so I don't know. Do we have a receiver or two that's supposed to be pretty strong in your guys' opinion?
We have a bunch of young guys.
Okay.
We don't have any of the 4-star and higher. If you go by star rating,
sure,
they don't have the star power there yet. But and that's strange. It's a weird thing because you think about the quarterbacks that come through. Between Rivers and Russell and Mike Glennon, and you would have thought we'd be able to keep that wide receiver train going a little bit better, and it kind of seems like there's been a gap there. And
yeah, I guess it has. I guess it has. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. They've been thrown. It's just one of them. I mean, the thing is, what we accomplished, you don't. Like I said, it ain't but about, I don't know, 5 to 7 or 8 schools. In the country, bar none, that can talk, USC, Miami, right. Tennessee, a couple. It's only, and those are like the huge names, schools. So it's, what we've accomplished is kind of like I don't know, it's kind of like, I don't know, New England Patriots, if they only make it to the wild card game, you get upset, but, because you've been spoiled, you know what I mean? So
yeah, I agree. Hopefully, we take care of that soon. I know there's a couple of guys that they're going after hard that might be playmakers or game changers in that aspect. So we'll find out soon. I think a lot of the guys are probably waiting for this season and see how Doran's progressing and see if the program's really on the right track. And
absolutely,
I think it is. So I think that'll change.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it will also. I mean, this should be the best year we've had. I mean, it should be. And I'm not even including these first 4 games. I'm just talking about to me with the real games that's coming. It should be the best year we had in at least 5 years, I would imagine, something like that. Probably at least 3 or 4 years for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
On the same line, I know how you feel about the schedule so far. What's your outlook for the rest of the year?
For the rest of the year, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. It's all conference games. The conference is so huge now, with all of these teams. But it's exciting. You get an opportunity to play, Syracuse and Boston College, and I don't know if they're on the schedule this year, but this being in the conference and things of that nature. So it's exciting. It's every week should be a good game. Every week should be, for the most part.
I think so too. I think Dustin and I both went 9-3. I don't think anything's going to change. Nothing's changed yet as far as that goes.
I think I'm up to 10, man.
A little extra confidence after whipping South Alabama.
We're driving to Virginia Tech, so they have to win that game.
That's true. That is true. We're going to record on site.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Any games that stick out in your mind? I know you played 4 years. You probably had some great memories, maybe some bad ones. Any games that you keep coming back to or wake up with cold sweats?
You know what? Yeah. Well, it was an exciting time when I was there. we're the winningest class in NC State history, and so we did some really great things, and put the program in a good spot with Coach Sheridan and Coach O'Kane. Man, I don't know before I even I go back a few years now, so you gotta get ready. Hold on to your hat. So before I even got on the field, we caught Brett Favre in his senior year, and so we played him in a bowl game. We beat them, and Brett Favre was a big deal then as well. Not the deal he turned into, but he was still a big deal. So that was great. We had a few tough bowl losses, and beating Carolina, we beat them 2-3 years in a row. All of them were great. That's always a good thing. We beat Duke in an incredible comeback where I was able to make like one of the top 10 ESPN plays of the year. At the end of the game or what have you, a one-handed catch, and then the last one. The last two. I know it's a lot of games, but it was a good time for NC State at that point in football. But the last two is Duke was really rolling. I can't remember who their coach was at this time, but they were kind of how they are now. As far as or how they've been in these last few years, right. And they came into Carter Finley. They were looking to possibly even to be at that time everybody's playing. This was when Florida State was like a monster, so he was kind of playing for second place in the conference, but they were on track. But anyway, we beat them there, and then that led us to go down to the Peach Bowl in Atlanta, and we had a few tough losses. We played Florida, the Gators, in a bowl game, Michigan. Man, it was a good time. It wasn't no Presbyterians on the schedule at that time. But anyway, we played those guys, but we did suffer some tough losses. And but we got Mississippi State in the bowl game in Atlanta, and I didn't even play. I had torn my knee up my senior year at that point. But just the experience, the atmosphere, how the guys came together. We were down early, came back, and won the game. And like. They had an exciting fan base, Mississippi State, with their cowbells.
Cowbells.
And all that good stuff. So it was cool. It was an incredible. And that was like the Georgia Dome was, because we had played. They were playing in where they played the baseball games at maybe a year or two before that. So the Georgia Dome was almost brand new at that point. Yep. And so it was an incredible experience, and so it was a great way to end my career.
I'll never forget how loud that place was with all those cowbells. I still have nightmares about it.
We play Mississippi State in a year or two, isn't it?
I know we do.
We got a home with them, yeah.
Oh wow!
Some
Okay,
more cowbells.
More cowbells. Cool.
So. You left state. You played in the NFL for a couple of years. The Seahawks, right?
Yeah.
Were there as many Seahawks fans then as there are now?
Well, you already know the answer to that. People didn't care not one bit about the Seahawks when I was there. It was a totally different time. We weren't horrible. We were kind of like 8-8, 7-9 every year. We always should have done better. But it was nothing like they have now. They got a buzzsaw up there now, of course, led by Russell. And it was a great experience, though. My NFL career was a dream and a nightmare all combined into one. A dream just because all these guys you watch, you think the world of. Next thing you know, you sitting down tying your shoe up right next to an All-Pro, a Pro Bowler, a Hall of Famer, a future Hall of Famer, and all that, So that whole thing was incredible, but it was a nightmare in the respect that after I tore up my knee my senior year, it just was a domino effect as far as knee. I couldn't stay healthy, and I lived in the training room for most of my career.
So if you could have been healthy, would you have wanted to stick with the NFL before you started your Hollywood career, or?
Well, I didn't even know acting was anywhere on the horizon. It just sort of came for the most part. I'm a tunnel vision guy, so all I could think about was being a legend on the football field. And and I tell people, because people ask me that quite a bit, I tell them I would have played. I'm the type of guy that would have played until he was 100 if there was no such thing as getting too old or injuries. I would have never stopped. I loved it. So yeah, I would have acting. I wouldn't have cared. But now that I'm in acting, I do love it. I'm one of the few people that's fortunate enough to find another true passion. Not just something to do and make a living and just get money at, but something you're passionate about.
All right, so let's ask you the tough question. If you're 80 years old, you're looking back, would you trade an NFL Hall of Fame career for a star on the Walk of Fame?
That's a pretty tough. That is a tough question. The only thing that the star and the Walk of Fame and all that has over the NFL is the fact that at the NFL you got to stop at a certain point.
Right.
So that's the only thing. But in regards to each, man, I don't even know, man. I can't answer that. You stumped me with that one. You stumped me.
Well, that's something to think about. Next time we have you on, I'm going to ask you again.
Yeah, I'm going to have an answer for you.
Well, you said you're out in L.A.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I got one more question for you.
Okay.
What did you think when you saw the renovations to Carter Finley Stadium?
Incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, the program, what they've done, the money that they put into it, the dedication of all the donors or whomever to make these things happen is phenomenal. And it's really exciting. I saw the practice fields, just the whole deal. They took the hill out and put seats in there and all that. So the hill did have its own little special little thing about it, but I can understand.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of cool still though having it, filling it up. But it's really incredible. And I just, of course the thing, the old heads or the former players, the popular comment is they got all these facilities, but they ain't winning no games. So hopefully now
there's no excuse now.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully they can put it all together now, and I think that they will.
Good. I agree. I think it's crazy what's happened to the Carter Finley from seeing it over the years, and like you said, the grass hill and the tiny little locker room building to the monstrosity they have now is unbelievable.
It is. It's really special. It's really it gives a great experience for the student athlete.
So you said you're out in L.A.
Mm-hmm.
What do you got? What are you working on now? You working on anything interesting? Anything our fans would be interested to know about?
Man, absolutely. I'm excited. I'm thrilled, and I'm just so motivated and passionate about. I got a feature film I'm doing on the greatest of all time. You've never seen a fighter this fast. The greatest of all time, Muhammad Ali. It's a film called Ali Speaks. And we're raising money on Indiegogo, the Indiegogo site for it. And I actually did a short film a few years ago that the Muhammad Ali Center honored. It's a little 6-minute film that's on YouTube that people can check out if they like. But the Muhammad Ali, Center loved it. And I was the only film that they honored that was about Muhammad Ali. Everything else is about, because it was a humanitarian awards event that he has, so everything else is about people doing a lot of stuff for the community. But they really loved my piece, so I met him and his wife briefly, but I did. And now I want to make a feature film based off of the short. So and real quick for the fans, because if I heard this, I would say, man, another Muhammad Ali film. What can you say or whatever, But what I did, because I always wanted to play him, and I feel like that I can really bring something special to the screen. But so when I even made the short film, I was like, man, what can I talk about that hadn't been beat to death already? And so what this does, it has a sci-fi element where it brings Ali is basically sort of an ordinary experience or experiment to maybe alleviate some of the pains that, as far as he's been experiencing with some of the illness. Something ordinary turns extraordinary as we basically bring Ali back and put him in his prime in today's society. So we kind of watch him navigate through today's world, athletically, socially, personally, and it's a thrilling journey. So it's a big thing, and I'm looking forward to it.
That's amazing. How do you pull something like that off?
Well, in regard to the financial portion of it, or the actual film?
Well, both actually. I mean, I don't know a whole lot about Indiegogo campaigns.
Sure.
That's got to be a monster effort.
Yeah, I tell you, boy, it's wearing on me, but it's just you got to do what you got. It's that whole thing. I guess you got to dig through the dirt or whatever the phrase is to get the diamonds, though. You got to do that work, and that's what we're doing. And yeah, so we're trying to raise the money on these crowdfunding. You just kind of are reaching out to friends or different people who supported you. Like I'm reaching out and hoping you all, the Wolfpack Nation, will step, will be able to help support this film and donate. But and yeah, just trying to get the money. Now I'm gonna just throw some numbers out, and it's gonna throw you guys off. But just hold on before you react too much. So we're trying to raise $300,000. Now that's a lot of money right there.
Yeah.
But in the film world, it's not really much money. In the film, most of these films are made for a couple of million easily. But we would love to get 300,000, but I feel like if I can at least somehow get 100,000, which people are on there raising $500,000, but if I can at least get 100,000, I can really make a good piece. So, right now I got people contributing, but we're a little behind the eight ball right now, so we really need to make some good things happen, and I think that we will. But yeah. And then as far as the film, we'll probably have to shoot it. I don't know, probably a 15-day shoot of shooting different scenes, and you guys have probably heard that you might shoot a scene that you watch and it's a 4 or 5 minute scene. That scene might take 2-3 days to shoot, or in this respect, being it's not a big budget and we got to move a little faster, it'll definitely take a day to shoot like a 5 minute scene. So it's just part of it, it's part of the deal. But yeah, that's what it is. And we're going to reach out to a celeb or two and have a few. We don't have any specific names right now, but we're going to definitely get some people involved on that front as well.
We'll definitely put this out to Wolfpack Nation, and I think we can come together and everybody can help out. And we'd love to see you reach that goal and chase down something you're passionate about.
Hey, thank you. I really appreciate it. And let me throw this out too. I put together. We're not going to release it. Me and a guy named David Roundtree. He's a Wolfpack grad as well. He actually played on the team. I think he walked on a little after I left. But anyhow, he's out here directing now. I wanted to put something. I made a big like motivational speech type thing for my old high school, Lakeland High School in Florida. It's like a traditionalist. I mean, this is literally like one of the top 10 football schools in the country. It's a big school. So, and I made something for them, and they play it on the Jumbotron before every game. So I wanted to do something for NC State as well. We've put something together that this is, and I've done a couple really good films. This Ali thing, did a great piece with Beyonce. I've been able to do a lot of cool stuff. This right here will stand up to any of that. And I'm not just talking. You'll see it tomorrow, and I'm gonna make sure I get it through you guys, since you blessed me enough to be on the show. So make sure I reach out to you, and you can put it out there with all that good stuff. But this is gonna be a powerful feat.
Man!
NC State. If anybody who like NC State, they're gonna be moved by this piece. I'm just laying it out right now. I'm telling you.
Well, I'm
That's fantastic.
pumped up, and I don't even know what you're talking about. All right, so one last question for you: where can our audience find you? We'd like to keep in touch. What's the best way for people to follow you, follow what you got going on, and get behind your campaigns and get behind your movements?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, everyone can find me on. I'm on Twitter. It's Eddie Goines, EDDIEGOINES, Twitter or Facebook. But yeah, right now, and we have to. This campaign is like a 60-day campaign, so it ends November 10th. On the Indiegogo campaign, ALI and Speaks. Ali Speaks, and it'll come up, and you can go on there and contribute in any way that you like, and and that's that's it. So yeah, I would love to receive any support that you all can.
Well, that's awesome. So we'll make sure our audience reaches out and helps you reach your cause. And again, we appreciate you taking your time. It's been a real pleasure for me, and I know Dustin feels the same way.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. It was a lot of fun.
Thanks, Eddie.
Okay.
Appreciate it, bud.